Hi there, and welcome to my Hygge Crow. My name is Christina. I use she, her pronouns, and I am coming to you from Sacramento, California, where I live with my husband, Joel, and my 3-month-old now, Elliot. She is sleeping. I have the monitor right here, so hopefully she will sleep through the recording, but she very well might not. So if I have to pause in the middle and come back at a later time, I'm sorry for any changes in lighting and things like that. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed she will sleep through. So I am very excited to be filming today. I haven't filmed a video in quite a while at this point. Things really ramped up with baby stuff. I feel like at 2 and 3 months old, um, it's not that they sleep less, because I think Elliot actually sleeps about the same now as she did as a newborn. She didn't sleep all that much as a newborn, but there's just so much more energy and interaction and things like that. And it somehow just takes up a lot more time than when they're in that newborn stage. We've also had a lot of not house guests, but visitors coming to meet her and to see us as well, I guess. I think she's the real draw, but we have been very busy in the last month or two with all of that and just adjusting to new parent life. So I'm excited to get to film today. It's a bit late, but I really wanted to film a spring knitting plans video. So I'm seeing all of these videos coming into my YouTube feed, and they're starting to inspire me to look towards my spring knits. Maybe I should have already done so since it is like, I don't know, we're definitely in a streak of 70s, um, getting into low 80s, I think, here in Sacramento. Um, so actually, it's pretty much already summer at this point. Um, but have just, I'm like almost finished clearing my my current projects, my current works in progress from the winter season. I still have 2 projects on the needles. I am planning on filming a podcast, so I'll talk more about that in that podcast. But what I really wanted to do was film what I hope will be a realistic spring and even summer knitting plans video. Um, I am all over Ravelry, like adding favorites to like every day, new favorite patterns and things I want to knit in my queue is absolutely ridiculously long. But as a new parent, I definitely have a lot less time to knit than I did, you know, 4 months ago when I was pregnant. Um, so I am trying to be realistic and not put a ton of expectations on myself that I'm just going to pump out projects like I did before, because that hasn't really been um, the case for me lately. So I just want to like um, keep it a little bit more minimal, I guess, and try to complete what I set out to. The other thing that I have been seeing a lot on everyone's knitting podcasts is conversations about color seasons. And so I have actually known my color season for a couple years now. I am a light summer, which, if you don't necessarily know about color seasons, um, there's like a lot of stuff on the internet about it, and like little quizzes and things you can take that kind of ask you about your um, eye color, hair color, skin color undertones and stuff like that, to try to determine like which colors look the best on you. And yeah, I did that a few years ago. I am a light summer. I actually have this little like credit card thing that I keep in my wallet, so that when I go to the thrift store and I inevitably find clothes that I really like that aren't in my color, I can hold this up to them and be like, oh, actually, that won't look so great on me. Um, so these are my colors. Uh, as you can tell, there is a ton of pink on here, which I do wear pink, and I like pink, but I definitely tend more towards blue, which is also, I could wear most blues. And generally colors that have cool undertones. And I've heard it described for a light summer, colors that almost like glow, like they're really quite um, bright, not any muted colors at all, pretty much, and no black or true white, especially close to my face. So those are my colors. I won't say that I always wear them. I know in the past couple years, muted colors have been all the rage, and I really love them in theory, even though they don't necessarily look great on me. So that has definitely been a struggle um, in the past, is me wanting to wear all of these like lovely muted greens, and like sage green and millennial pink and all of these colors that actually don't look that great on me. But I am today wearing my Growing cardigan by Huga Strick, and this I is this is one of my colors. So the yarn I used is Swan's Island Fingering Natural Colors collection. I always get those words mixed up. I'll put it on the screen. And the color is sky blue. And I held it with one strand of Drops Kid Silk mohair, or yeah, Kid Silk, in one of the white colors. I don't remember exactly. And yeah, this is the Growing cardigan. I really recommend the pattern. It's super cool. You have an option to do a cropped cardigan like this, or to do a long cardigan. So it's really like a two-in-one pattern. And I had to make some modifications because I lost yarn chicken. Um, so the ribbing at the bottom, both the body and the ribbing at the bottom are a little shorter than the pattern calls for. So I have like a bit of an extra crop. And then I also made the sleeves more of like a 3/4 length. And they're supposed to have quite a bit of this wide like ribbing at the end of the sleeve, and I just didn't have enough to do that, so I just cast off in an I-cord. I get like a little bit of a 3/4 balloon sleeve here. But yeah, I love this cardigan. It is um, perfect for cool spring days, which we don't have many of in Sacramento, so I've got to wear it as much as I can in this season. Um, and then, yeah, pretty soon it'll be too hot to wear anything with mohair. But yeah, so this is like a success in knitting in my colors. I did previously try to only knit things in my colors, and I don't necessarily think I knit anything that wasn't in my colors in the light summer colors, but I realized after I knit two pieces, one in like kind of like a navy blue and one in a um like a deep purple, that it was like a little too much color and that I should maybe stick with neutrals. So I kind of swung the other way and knit more with neutrals, and then this was kind of my next foray into color. But I felt very safe knitting in this color because it is a color I really like and I wear quite a bit. So um, I all of my plan knits are definitely in colors in my season, and so yeah, I'll just start talking about them. No more preamble. So the first one that I will talk about is actually a knit for Elliot. I have not done her color seasons, but I'm assuming she has the same as me. Joel and I have very similar coloring, so um, yeah, just gonna operate under that assumption for now. Um, I will be using these yarns. This is Kobasi by Haiku, and the blue is indigo, and the white is natural. So these are the colors. I have talked about this before. I'm planning to knit the Rillaroot. No, Rillaroot is the designer. The Knut Body by Rillaroot, and it's just a little like summer striped romper pattern. I love rompers for babies. Just like that one piece outfit, so convenient. Um, so yeah, that is my plan for this yarn. Um, I'm actually really hoping to cast that on soon, like maybe right after I film this video, because I don't have any baby knits on the needles right now. So that is my first plan. The yarn is 55% cotton, 16% bamboo, 21% elastic nylon, and 8% silk. So it is a awesome summer yarn to work with. I have knit a lot for Elliot, but most of those things were really like winter fall appropriate pattern or yarn choice and pattern choice. So she's definitely lacking in summer knits, which in Sacramento summer is like 6 months of the year. So I need to make up for that. Which brings me to my next uh, planned pattern, and that is I don't have the yarn for it. I'm not going to buy the yarn for it. I'm going to be good and not buy the yarn for it until I have cast off, or I'm like about to cast off this this little romper, because if I don't get to this next one, like that's okay. That's totally fine. And I don't want to have that yarn sitting there making me feel guilty for not knitting this pattern. But the pattern is the Pinwheel Baby Romper. And the designer for that is Anur Berkimbayeva. And it is available on the Pearl Soho. It's published on the Pearl Soho website. And the pattern calls for one of the Pearl Soho yarns, but I am hoping to knit it in um, Zauberwoll cotton in the colorway Junges Gemüse. Um, and it's just such a beautiful, like pastelly, gray, cool undertones, um, color changing colorway. And I think it'll look really cool on this pattern, just the way the colors will fall into like the pinwheel that's on the front, and then they'll kind of stripe in the rest of the body. So I'm really excited for that. Again, I'm not going to buy the yarn until till I'm ready to knit it. Um, but I think it's just so cute. And it's got little tie straps on the shoulders, and I think that will be great because um, Elliot's a little bit longer. She's like long and skinny, and so often her clothes will be too short before, like, not often, every time when she grows out of her clothes, it's because they're too short rather than they're too tight. So having that extra, like being able to tie it a little looser, will help extend the life of that garment, I think, longer for her. And again, we have 6 months of summer here, so she's gonna need to wear that one for a long time uh, this year. So, yes, I was super excited about that one. Um, Next up, I have this little guy. I think I talked about this in a previous podcast. It was a kind of a acquisition on a whim because I needed to buy some wool wash, and it was cheaper to buy it from Knit Picks. So I just wanted to try this sock yarn, which is Stroll, and the color here is Sapphire Heather. So it's got a little bit of heathering. I would say it's like almost like a blue heathered with teal almost. And my plan is to knit some shorty socks with this. Some nice summer shorty socks. And I would like to knit the Spoondrift pattern by This Handmade Life. I think that'll look great in this color. The sample on that pattern is knit in more of a lighter blue, but I think this one will look great as well. Um, I just finished another pair of socks. It was my first socks that I knit two at a time. And I'm kind of torn between knitting these two at a time or knitting them one at a time so they're easier to hold when I'm like nursing. Um, I don't know. I'm not great at knitting while nursing. Elliot's a bit too active of an eater for that. So, um, yeah, I'll probably cast these on two at a time. But the Spoondrift pattern has like a beautiful lace. Um, I think it's just a front panel. So yeah, super excited to cast that on. Again, it's a good color on me. Not that it matters because it's on my feet. And what you really want to do is wear the colors that are good for you right next to your face. But might as well have it all look good together. Next up will be these beautiful yarns. I am, I've already kind of broken into these cakes to knit a little bonnet, which you'll see in my podcast episode. But these are more Swans Island. I love Swans Island. Um, Natural Colors collection, and this color is vintage lilac. And all of this yarn, the Natural Colors collection from Swans Island, is like they're naturally dyed and they're all very tonally variegated. I think that's the right way to say it. But of all of them, I feel like this one has the most um, difference between like that purple and then almost it goes to almost pink. And so you get a little bit of, well, I've only knit a small circumference thing with this, and so it did cause like a bit of striping. So I'm really excited to see what it does in a larger garment. Um, but my plan is to knit the Ripple Crop Top by Jessie Made Designs. And yeah, I think it'll just look so good. I this is 100% wool, 100% merino, organic merino wool. And so I do have a little bit of reservation about it being too warm for wearing in Sacramento. But I think that pattern has definitely like it's not like right in your armpits, and it is a fingering weight yarn, so it'll at least be quite thin. I wear a lot of wool. I wear a lot of wool, and I wear it um, when it's pretty hot outside. So hopefully it won't be too bad. And if it is, then it'll be something that I wear more in the spring and fall, which are admittedly short seasons in Sacramento, but you know, gotta work with wool as knitters. It's just such a nice fiber. Okay, and then the last major, this is kind of like my major planned project, will be the Pressed Flowers cardigan by Amy Christoffers. And I know so many knitting podcasters make this pattern, or one of the pressed flowers pattern, and I just needed to join in. And the pattern calls for like a barber pulled yarn, um, but I don't knit a lot with really variegated hand dyed yarns or speckled yarns, and I just thought that this would be like such a good opportunity to work with a heavily variegated and speckled um, yarn. And so my plan is to pair this neutral with this really cool variegated hand-dyed yarn. So the neutral here is Heatherwood, heirloom Heatherwood, and it is like a vintage yarn. It's definitely um, discontinued, so don't look for that on the internet unless you're on like eBay or something. And then these I just recently acquired. These are Bad Sheep yarn. Um, this is their sport weight 100% merino, and the colorway is Vivant. Um, Honestly, looking at these now, the this red or like mauve and the yellow are a little muted for light summer colors, but I think the blue is really right in the light summer color range. So since it's paired with this neutral color, which is more of a cool toned oatmeal-y, hopefully it'll be good. I'm seeing that there's like a lot of breakage on these balls, so that'll be a joy. I guess I'll be doing a lot of spit splicing for this. That is one of the issues with working with thrifted yarn is often it's been through some stuff. And I will say I always, before I add any yarn to my stash, I always freezer it. And so that's a hot tip for anyone who does like to buy thrifted yarn. You don't know where that yarn has been, if there's moths in it or anything. So definitely recommend always putting it in the freezer before you add it into your main stash. And I usually just leave it in there for a week because I forget it. But I think I'm not going to say how much time you need to put in because I don't remember. But yeah, look it up, freezer your yarn. Um, yeah. So that pressed flowers cardigan, I know I'll be playing Yarn Chicken on that one with the neutral. I'm planning on um, maybe I think I'm gonna knit it with less positive ease than the pattern suggests, so it'll be more of a tight cardigan on me and or fitted, and I might crop the ribbing at the bottom a bit and potentially leave off a full pattern repeat of the flowers. So it would end up being like definitely cropped, and I'll probably shorten up the sleeves as well. So I don't love playing Yarn Chicken. I do it all the time. So we'll just see what happens with that. And then I did, because I love to shoot for the stars. Um, I did include one more pattern that's not like I have to knit this, but I want to put it in there as like a if I do good and I finish up some of my other things, I'd love to cast this on. I watch Kat Weaver, uh, her podcast on YouTube, and she has knit a lot of these. And every time I'm just like, oh, that looks so fun. And it is the Elf Mail by Danny Miga. Um, so this is more Swans Island. If you've watched any of my videos, you know it's my favorite yarn. And I buy it when I see it on eBay, um, or if they're having a really good sale. I buy it and I can't stop. So this is it's more of that same yarn, same as what I'm wearing, the Natural Colors Collection fingering weight, 100% merino, and this is the color indigo. And they knit or they dye a number of their skeins in indigo, and they're called other things, but this one is just called indigo. And then I would pair it. So this would be like the contrast one, and then I would pair it with um, this yarn. It's also Swans Island, but it is not. It's a discontinued base, and it is 50% merino and 50% tussa silk. And the colorway here is fog. And so I have two of these. And this is actually lace weight. And this is light fingering. So, I might cast on, and the difference in gauge might just be too much to make it work. But I think that the colors pair really well together. And I like the idea of um, having that sweater be partially silk, just to lighten it up a little bit. It's already such a kind of thin looking sweater because it's fingering weight. The pattern calls for fingering weight, and so just a little more lightness is always good in a warm climate. So that would be my plan for these if the rest of my knitting plans go well. So that's my sixth bonus pattern that we'll just play this one by ear. We'll see what happens. So yeah, those are my knitting plans. Um, I just felt so inspired by everyone else's knitting plans on YouTube. So I did want to share what mine are for the spring and summer. Again, trying to be realistic as a new parent. Um, and yeah, so hopefully you'll stick with me on this YouTube journey and you'll see these start to come together on some podcasts upcoming. Um, but yeah, thanks so much for joining. Um, cheers. Hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is that you're catching up with me. And thanks for watching. Bye.